Ugh, I think we're finally getting to the end of this nightmare escape. So yeah, things are getting blown out of proportion. It's getting to the point where he is just taking out his anger on the kids, and I've had enough. I'm this fucking close to losing my motherfucking shit, and a few times the monster did come out, and I went off. There was one point where he was actually holding while I was going off on him. He picked up the oldest child and did like this, trying to block himself with her, trying to put her between us while I was yelling at him, and I was just like, no, I just stopped and I just walked away because like, what the fuck, you're not gonna do. And another thing, I would get pulled into these fucking cycles where like the baby was crying and she needed a bottle because it was that time. And I was just like, okay, she needs a bottle. And it was supposed to be his time to watch them. Now, mind you, like, obviously I'm in the same fucking room and he's too busy playing a game. And so I just grabbed the bottle off the table and start to go fill it. Now, mind you, this is when he decides that he's going to stop the game. And he's like, I was gonna do it. You should just wait. No, you're not asking me to wait. You're asking the child to wait. And I'm not about to fucking wait while she's already fucking crying. And then I was going to. I was going to fill up the bottle in the sink. He grabbed my arm so hard that it fucking bruised after that. And pulled me back to take the bottle out of my hands and then threatened that if I didn't move out of the way that he would go fill it up in the bathroom sink. Now I realized like while we're sitting here having this argument, the child is still fucking hungry. So I move out of the way so he can hurry up and get the freaking bottle ready. And I was just like, what the fuck? And he was yelling at me about not being patient and waiting. I was like, it's not me that's waiting. It is the child that is waiting. I'm not the one being impatient. I'm trying to make sure that she gets her sustenance immediately. Like, it hadn't been that long since she had had, her bottle, but like, she was hungry. She was a greedy baby. So, yeah, I was just like, this is absolutely insane. And shit was just blowing up left and right, and it just kept involving like the kids kept getting put in the middle of this shit, and I'm just like, what the hell am I supposed to fucking do? Actually, want to know something funny? Okay, so this is the juicy part of the story. He ends up calling my mother because, mind you, I'm not working at this time. I'm just trying really hard to get a fucking job. um and by this point, I'm not able to keep up with anything because I'm too busy doing all of these stupid questionnaires, trying to make sure that the areas that the child goes into are clean because all that work that my mother had done was gone within a week. And mind you, I could not move most of that damn time. And it was fucking devastating to watch the fucking house fall into crazy bullshit like that. And I spent the time like gradually trying to freaking tackle the other areas that the mess had magically appeared in and catch up with the laundry again and also pack my shit. And I started throwing away a lot of my stuff. But yeah, I was doing all of that, and he calls my mom to complain that I am not cooking and cleaning while taking care of the kids. Mind you, he keeps leaving a whole entire fucking mess everywhere he goes. And I'm so fucking busy. I'm just doing the bare motherfucking minimum at this point. And I absolutely hate be doing the bare minimum of anything because, triggers from childhood. But that's all I can manage because I am literally drained of my fucking energy and I'm still having to put out energy so that these kids are taken care of. and like their areas are clean and they have like a space to play and can eat comfortably, and that's the whole mess in itself. And I'm doing this shit completely by myself while also having a grown motherfucking man to take care of too, apparently, even when we're not together. And then he basically said, like, he does that to ask my mom if she could take the kids in. And I resisted it as much as I fucking could. And at one point, I told him that he doesn't need to communicate with me verbally anymore. Everything that he needs to say to me needs to be through text message, because it always leads to a screaming match and it always gets off topic. And he focuses more on like what I'm doing than, anything that has to concern the kids. It's always about, who are you hanging out with and all of that shit and all of that. Now, I got fucking I got fucking tired of it. I really was. And so, thinking back to it makes me sick to my fucking stomach, because I really got pulled into a bunch of bullshit, and it dragged the kids into it too. And it was crazy. So yes, I resisted my mom coming to get the kids and whatnot and all of that shit. And I was just like, I got to the point where I couldn't get a job. It was just I missed interviews, because now at this point I'm asking my sister's friend to come and get me to go to an interview, and getting the kids ready. Like, I think one of the times I don't even fucking remember, but I had gotten everything ready ahead of time, and it was still difficult to get there. And I think I went to the wrong fucking location, because there was two different locations on the same fucking street that they told me to meet at, and I went and there was nobody there both times. And I was just like, how am I supposed to fucking get these interviews done if I have to sit here and continuously take car seats in and out of the house, or in and out of the, yeah, in and out of the house with these kids, because I have to take them to the interview with me at this point. And it was fucking insane. So yeah, I was going absolutely nuts, because it was like he was trying so hard to keep me from being able to do it. You don't need to work 6 days a damn week, especially if somebody else is trying to fucking get a job. And I was over it. And that's exactly why I didn't want him to be the fucking stay-at-home dad. Because that was just too much. So then I got to the point where I absolutely couldn't get a job. So I called my mom. I was like, hey, are you going to be able to come and get them? Because at this point, I can't get into these interviews, because I have the children to watch after. And if the children's interferes with the job, then it's just making it fucking harder. And he refuses to take any time off so that I can actually go to these fucking interviews. And eventually she ended up picking him up. It's like pulling teeth, but she eventually ended up picking them up. I stayed and locked myself in like the kids' room and kept the door locked all the damn time. And at that point, the children weren't with us, so he did not need to communicate with me anymore at that point. And even though anything that he needed to say to me that wasn't about the kids could have been done through text, he continued to fucking knock on that door at every chance he possibly could, kept trying to feed me or give me something to drink, and I refused each and every time. There was a point where I didn't even go into the fridge to eat any of the food that I managed to buy, mind you. And I just ended up like not eating, or like getting a couple of like prepackaged things, because I was just like, why are you constantly trying to order me food? I told you I don't even want to talk to you, and I absolutely refuse to open the door. Just kept fucking harassing me and would not stop. But I needed to get a job, and I didn't want to have to go through any kind of issues between, the kids bouncing back between us. So I stayed there while the kids went with my mother for the summer or spring, whatever it was. Yeah.